enough advocacy, public jingles and everything on how dangerous it might be for you if you travel illegally. So we know there's organ harvesting. We know the worst case scenarios, things that happen. There are NGOs in Nigeria. One of them have been on the show before on the Middle East, rescuing girls, talking about the dangers and the kind of things they go through. There's a video of, I think, a BBC documentary everywhere on how Sudan, I think Senegal or Sudanese, how young girls are taken there, sold into slavery, the kind of torture they put them through, prostitution and all that. So we need that kind of effort they put in to stop the migration of girls from my state at the time up to Italy to do prostitution. That kind of effort to stop people from going, because there's no better, there's no green grass anywhere, especially up north. So if you're not a professional, and this I want to go abroad thing started with our professionals using our resources in those days to go to school in Nigeria, to go to the best of our universities at the time, and then relocating abroad as professionals. So they did well for themselves. Nigerians are still the most educated people, migrants in the world.
But they are different.
The skilled ones, they're still the most educated people across the world. Exactly. We do well for ourselves when we're educated. But everybody just thinks that because of the foreign currency value kind of thing, everybody wants to go there.
There's nothing wrong in legal migration, because
I've not said that.
Yes, Canada, like a few other countries are absorbing our skilled workers, although we're not happy about it. But the point is that there are legal ways of going to these countries. But especially when you go to the Middle Eastern countries, their laws are totally different. So, and I think part of the campaign you're talking about is that people need to be told. We need to be told the kind of laws these countries have.
Maybe we should do visuals. People should see what their people go through. So, as they are now, if Dubai wasn't a very secure country, if they were by mistake trekking that desert in Libya, you don't want to imagine what will happen to them. There was this time when, there was this, they were scouting for Nigerian footballers, when the Nigerian footballers were earning the best abroad. A group of young boys ended up in countries they could not define, and they lost their kidneys. Some lost two, both kidneys. So those are the kind of images I would like that Nigerian government. So when you are traveling, travel with the right document. Travel in countries where you can shout that somebody just abused my human rights and you will have it enforced. And sadly, because you are black-skinned already, there's a problem in some countries, some of these, first world countries that we like to talk about. Already, because you are dark-skinned, you go first raise your hand. So let's talk of Middle East countries where it takes a while for their law enforcement to respond. It takes a process for you to even get out, where you can arrive today legally, and somebody will seize your passport, hold on to it, and demand that you work for them to earn your passport to move freely. You get into their country with a work permit, and somebody can seize it.
So I have, talking about, we need to talk about what they really go through when they take this, when they illegally migrate. I had a driver who told me his experience. He said that as a young boy, he thought that the only way he could make it was to leave Nigeria. He had finished school, there was no job, and everywhere around him, everybody was suffering, and he couldn't take it anymore. But that he was able to raise a large sum of money to pay some agents to carry him through the desert. Right. He said it was when they got to the desert that most of them had to find their way back because it was tough. He said, do you know that we had to be paying women for their pee in order for us to drink?
Jesus Christ.
He said it happened to him that because the desert is so dry, it was even tough for you to get that. So when people hear that stories, I mean, also, it's not... When you hope that when they hear those stories, it will dissuade them, and I guess it will dissuade some. But we see the videos of many of them who drown in the sea, and it still hasn't stopped some people. So for me, I think is that back home, we need to make it a lot more...
So all those people who we brought back home, maybe we need to start talking to them, to let them share their experience.
Speak up.
I know that my former nanny, her daughter actually was sold into sex slavery. And the girl will be calling, she was my nanny at the time, she'll be calling her mother that in a day, they make her sleep with 42 men.
What?
In one day, in the country she was in. The woman will be crying like this, that how can I do that? I said, Mike, what can I do that?
She was communicating
with her daughter. In one day, 42 men that they will force her to. And I'll try to call as many people as I could to find what we can do to help this person. But they kept moving her and moving her. We couldn't track the girl anymore.
No,
So
once they know
these are
once
stories.
they know she's no longer submissive,
yes,
they kind of fling her around. So there's a syndicate that that was exposed in India. A Nigerian was sitting on this syndicate, and every black girl whose aspiration is to do well for herself is a victim of that syndicate. Imagine, and the guy, there was hidden cameras and he was really exposed. And I was wondering, it's only those of us who have data and those of us who are interested to watch this long video to the end that will see the consequence of this thing. So most times, yes, a lot of people, there are many videos, there are many pictures, but a lot of people don't see it. But if it was government efforts, imagine all our local stations showing, giving us, telling us. There was a guy I first, thank you, the madam at NIDCOM, that's the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. She assisted me to rescue someone in Libya back then. This young man had a bakery. He even had a bike for delivery. Yeah. So he would do fresh bread in the morning, but he just thought, there was a bigger business that was, frustrating his business, and he wasn't making as much profit. And, we are no longer patient to do things gradually. Yeah. So he sold his bakery, sold everything, ended up in Libya, and he was sold across slave camps, over 4 slave camps, before his friend was able to get a video across to me. Imagine the process it took me to get it to Madam Abike before she would do something about it. Eventually, we were able to locate it, because then it's wrong for him to even try to make a video call, a WhatsApp call. So imagine all those.
Let me go on a break.
We need people to talk more about it.
We're going to take some phone calls and some tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about this illegal migration, and we're saying that it's important that we get these stories, because sometimes people are usually en route to Europe when they go through these countries, Lebanon. So there's this promise of greener pastures. So you're not going to all these Middle Eastern states. We're just going to use them to get to maybe Europe and all that. And that's part of what they used to entice families, because the nanny I was telling you that was working with me before, it was almost like, it was as if they planned, it was intentional. It was voluntary movement. They wanted her to go into that intentionally and then make some money for a few years and come home, because the lady's husband used to come to my house to see the woman. So it was planned and agreed. But after a while, obviously, the girl got frustrated. She was tired. She wanted to come home. She was done. And the mother kept telling her, don't worry, just walk your way to pay how much we went to go and loan to get you there. Once you pay that money, come back. But you see, there was no way the madam was going to allow her.
Madam there also that you'll be paying.
She'll be paying in dollars what she paid in.
Let me take this call from Germany. Good morning. Are you there?
Good morning. I'm here, yeah.
Go ahead, please. You're live.
Good morning, ladies. I've been watching the discussion you guys have been carrying out for the past 5 minutes on illegal immigration,
Right.
People traveling and getting stuck somewhere and then calling on the government to come and rescue them.
Right.
So my contribution is this. I think every sensible country does the first things first. There's this saying that you don't put the cart before the horse. It won't work. Let our government, first of all, do everything they're supposed to do, and then make the whole place comfortable for people to thrive. And then whoever...
So he's correct. I've seen some tweets saying you people should be talking about good governance. People should talk about if the country was okay, fewer people would travel. There's another tweet on United Kingdom. Okay, this one. United Kingdom is going to drain the swamp shortly. A lot of medical personnel in Nigeria are desperate to flee, and the various inanities of
we talk about government almost every single day. If anybody critiques the government, it's TVC. I mean, if journalists hang out to your view, but I don't think there's any other platform that critiques the government as we do on this station. However, we must also take responsibility on our own part. It's a two-way street. Exactly. So yes, government has their own to do, but we, the people, must also take responsibility.
I was building a premise when I said, Nigerian professionals started this trend when they started migrating those days, back in the days. So then it wasn't this bad. It's never been, it was never as bad as it is now before. But Nigerians kept going out. Nigerians had somewhere with the colonial mentality, I had to go abroad. Somewhere like, I can't live here. Somewhere wanted something. We always wanted something better than whatever we have. We never thought of making better what we had.
But we had, had leaders that traveled, came back, and helped to
plus the leaders, plus the, I'm not excluding anybody now. Right. I'm saying that because we never grew our own. Look at UAE. What was UAE back in the days? They had a clear policy on what they could be proud and build dignity in their citizens.
Let me take Lanika and come to you, Mariam. Lanika, are you there from Abuja?
Yes, I am.
Thanks for your live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies.
Morning.
How are you all doing?
Very, very
Fine,
well. Go
thank
ahead,
you.
please.
Okay. All right. So on this migration thing, you see, I think we burden the government too much. I'm not saying the government shouldn't be doing so much,
Yeah, that's
but if you look in other climates, their citizens are contributing to, and with migration, everybody will want to migrate. People want to migrate for different reasons. Even if you look at America, God's own country, their citizens still live. If you go there, there's poverty. Go to New York, you see people sleeping on the street. So there will always be poverty in the land. But I think with this migration issue, the problem, what I find so sorry about it is some people actually get into it unaware. So I think we need to come up with like documentaries, you've touched on it. It's very important. And that's where I think journalism in Nigeria, I've made comments on TVC handles before, that our journalists need to start doing documentaries. If you look at Stacey Dooley in BBC, she has some documentaries like that.
Right. You're very correct. We need more documentaries.
Yeah.
Yes, Mariam, let me let you
there's some
wrap up.
tweets here, and this person says, Amos says, why there is increase in illegal migration in Nigeria is because government economic policies are harsh on both private sectors and survival of most people. So we have had that conversation where a lot of people would say, today the government gives a certain economic policy, and because of that, some businesses decide to spring up, and then a change in government or a change of mind, and everything goes apart. Someone who has raised money, put money together to do that business, and you'd hear people who have been in that position taking this risk of migrating. So I think government, I know we don't want to put everything on government, but I think that government plays the most important part in this whole thing. If government understands that the flip-flopping of policies affects also how their people decide to make their living, maybe they will be more considerate or more considerate of how they change their policies willy-nilly.
So let me take this final call from Hakeem. We're going to wrap up very soon. Hakeem, are you there from the UK?
Hi, Morayo. My name is Hakeem. How are you today?
Very good. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Right. This issue of illegal migration, we have to break it down. You've got those that were trafficked outside to another country.
That's one.
And you've got those that, that have traveled legally, who's got visa, who's got holiday, who's gone on tourists and all the stuff. Now, the issue today is the evacuated ones that are brought back in. So we need to highlight all this. So the evacuated ones, the illegal migrants that are brought back to the country, those are the people we need to look into. Now, because of the lockdown.
Hello?
Go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, because of the lockdown and the restrictions, some of these people that are brought back, that are evacuated back, some of them have got their money to come back. Okay. But because the international space is still locked in Nigeria for now, it's not making many of them to come on here.
Okay, we'll try. We have to wrap up on this, but I think
So
what are our final words here?
I wanted to jump on the distinction that he made of trafficked persons against, those migrants, voluntary migrants who migrate economically for economic reasons. The truth is, yes, the trafficked ones are clear victims, but we have cases of those who migrated for economic reasons also being abused across the country, which is why we were saying, let's have videos of, what might happen in countries, and let people be aware of the laws, whether they have human rights laws, whether they have their police would respond, whether their government have the clear willpower to fight against abuses of foreigners.
Even if Nigeria has a strong presence there,
yes,
so let
our people know, and these agents who also trade in these businesses of getting people across, especially to the Middle East. There are lots of them. Those people returning should expose them and let's have them prosecuted.
Prosecute them.
Because they get money. Yeah. They get money for what they do. And the other person, selling your brother into that kind of situation for money is something terrible.
Who has trafficked others, please, those kind of people should be brought to book,
Exposed, yes.
and exposed and then persecuted. That's all we can take. I hope you've learned a few lessons from this. Let's go on a break. When we come back, the hottest topic in the land, Unilag and their Vice Chancellor. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You can watch Your View on TVC every Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Nigerian time on DSTV channel 418, GOTV channel 27 and channel 47, StarTimes channel 121 and channel 307, Play TV channel 801 and channel 190, UHF 49, Sky channel 515 for UK viewers. Watch live on Facebook at TVC Connect and on our website tvcentertainment.tv/livestream.